Thank you so much for doing this interview with me today. Today we'll be going over my project for my Info 400 class, and it's basically vaccination rates across marginalized communities. The purpose of this project is to create data visualizations that can be presented to stakeholders that are interested in increasing vaccination rates across marginalized communities so that they can take action and maybe provide more funding or take action in whatever form that looks like. Yeah, so I think we can start by talking about your experience with COVID vaccinations, and perhaps you can walk me through if you were able to take booster shots or how your experience was like getting vaccinated in general.
Hi, Anya. Thanks for reaching me out. I think what I feel about the COVID time was I think I really liked the way the county approached in terms of communication. Establishing communications across all the residents, like where to go and how to get their COVID shots. So everything
Mm-hmm.
was very well organized. And as well as their booster shots as well. So the communication went well. So we were properly informed, and we were all the online appointment scheduling was very efficient, very smooth for us to go through, and we didn't find any issues getting time slots during that time, and able to schedule and go along with the family and get those done.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they did a good job over there.
And how, when you're talking about being able to go to these locations, I'm assuming that you have a car to travel with, you have transportation available to you.
Yes, we were lucky enough. We had our own car in which we could go, and all these, things were, set up in a big parking lot, and with proper, with all the proper measures to be taken, for the distance, uh, whatever the guidelines were at that point of time. So we were able to maintain that, and there were folks who had who were coming to us through one side of the door and giving us the shots. So I think they took care of all the precautions that were established for the COVID.
Yeah, sounds good. How far are were these locations where they're offering these vaccinations from you?
Not far. Like they were within our city, only a couple of miles away,
Mm-hmm.
and there were multiple places to choose from,
Yeah.
not just one. Yeah.
So you said that you had access to transportation. There were multiple locations to choose from at various distances, and that you were able to find a time that worked for you to get your vaccination, and because of that, you were able to get your vaccination.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. Okay, sounds great. Anything else you want to add about vaccination booster shots?
No. No. I
Okay.
think everything was very well done. Like, even if we didn't even have to search for the information that was posted on our local website, so it was easy to traverse through.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, now I'm going to ask if you can go through my slides with me. This is not the final format of the data visualizations, but this is just the format that we're going to be viewing in it for right now. So, yeah, we can
Okay.
start off.
Yeah, so I was going through slide 4. I think that's where you're establishing your questions,
Mm-hmm.
and to answer those you are making your slides. The in further in the deck, what I can see is that you are trying to answer based on your charts and sources from where you have gathered the
Yeah.
data. So if I'm not wrong, you have picked up a certain pool of people
Yes.
to get your presentation done, right? And that's women, first of all, aged 18 to 49, and within that also pregnant women,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then further drilling down into their racial or ethnicity, and figuring out, their vaccination coverage rates. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, so there are three questions being posed over here on slide 4,
Mm-hmm.
and just the formatting, if you can call it out loud and clear, like there are one, two, three, like how many of those you are addressing,
Yeah.
right? And Probably if you can just tell in, how many slides in parentheses, slide this to this is going to address the first question,
Mm-hmm.
something which can tell folks, okay, like 6 to 8 is on this one, 9 to 12 is on this one, so that it's for the readability purposes. That's it.
Okay. Sounds great. Yeah. And then moving on, we can
Okay.
basically go
Okay. So,
over. Yeah,
uh
so
so I
continue.
see that you have slide 5 with data source, but I see certain fields are yet to be filled, or 5 or 6 are kind of same, and
For
you'll get rid of one.
Yes, so currently for my draft, I only used one data source, but
Mhm.
because my topic is vaccination rates across marginalized communities, I wanted to include maybe influenza shots or booster shots that people get more regularly over yearly, because then I'd have more data. So that is yet to be filled, but currently all the visualizations that are being done are from the data on slide 6.
Okay, great. So once you enter that in slide 5, make sure your header states that, so that they know which data source, because both of the headers are same in 5 and 6. So unless you go down and read it out, people would think it's redundant.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can call it out in the header, that'll look nice, yeah, and in bulleted form. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay,
I
so
think,
that.
yeah, we can look at the data source that I've been using for the data visualizations and then subsequently the data visualizations, and you can give me your feedback on that.
Sure. Okay. One thing I would, in the data source, if you can, or maybe you have put down in the other slides, if you can give the time range, that will be great. Like which year data or which month data, you are like, what's your scope of data,
Yeah.
right? For which you are doing this, that will give, good picture of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can add that data, that, that will be great. So moving on to slide 7, where you have your bar chart, distribution with 95. So what does this 95% confidence interval suggest? Like from where it's coming
Yeah.
and what does it mean?
And that's something that it's important to basically convey to the audience. So I'm glad you brought that up. But basically, the 95% confidence interval is that we are 95% confidence that all the values fall between this range. So because we are 95% confident, that means it's statistically meaningful.
I understand. So basically, the 5% comes under caveats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like why we don't have 100% versus 95%, right? That's what you mean to say?
Yes.
Okay, so I would again say, if you're the header of this slide could tell that, uh, maybe chart representing, data representing uh, uh, average percentage, yeah, vaccination coverage based on ethnicity of pregnant women, that will give us a very clear picture of what we are looking into.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I have to read through X and Y to understand what it is. So your clear header would just, be very useful for the people who are reading it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think I see that Asian, and you have used the word NH, and if you can specify the full form of the acronym somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
People would be clear, what does it mean, and I'm hoping it's non-Hispanic, right?
Yes.
Okay, so wherever you're using acronym across your deck, if you can just specify at one place, generally in the beginning or towards the end of the slide, so that they know, that will be great. And when you say unknown, it means people have not declared their ethnicity. That's where it says that means unknown.
Yes, but that's also a feature that should be described in my
Yeah,
visualizations.
yeah, exactly. So that will be great. And and then sorting based on, maybe low to high or high to low would be really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And all what you can do is, I was seeing in, I don't know how much of flexibility you have right now to change your slides, but the way you have done in slide 9, it's like you have in the right hand side, you have colors mentioned for each and every
Mm-hmm.
ethnicity. If you can bring in the same thing on this slide, and uh, each of your bar, can specify based on the color, it can show, okay,
Yes.
for the Asians, the orange color demonstrates that. So that will be very clear representation of what you want to tell people about your story,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And I know you have overall also embedded in this one as one of that. See how you can tell them that other than this, but based on particular ethnicity, I have the overall thing. So maybe just highlight it, underscore it, or something.
Oh, yeah,
Because,
definitely.
yeah, because it's a totality, right? Okay. Otherwise, I think this looks good. And on the left side, if you can just make bullet points
Mm-hmm.
or something, yeah, more readable. Otherwise, it looks very good.
Okay. Thank you so much. We can move on to slide 8 now. And
Okay, and that's answering your second. So that's the way you have aligned your questions on slide 4, and you have your data. Okay,
yeah.
I'm just going through that right now. Okay, so mainly I think in this one you are touching upon how much of data pool, basically the pool of data you had with yourself to figure out their, coverage. Somewhere
Yeah.
you, like, if I'm reading it correctly, one lies on 0,000, right? So that appears to be, I think, again, make this dots basically solid color so that it's easily matchable on the right,
Mm-hmm.
because there are different shades of blue or orange and reds. So that tells me that American Indian, the very first one, you had very less sample size.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And instead of average denominator, if you can relabel it to maybe population size or
Yeah,
something, right?
population sampled size.
Yeah, sample size. Yeah, exactly. And then this is an average percentage is, if you can redefine that too, so that it's more, it's not technical. Instead, it's more meaningful. Like, what does it tell?
Yes, of course.
Like average percentage of what, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And again, overall unknowns, and then so the top ones, which are above 16% and 12%, they are, as your story was telling earlier, they are related to having more responses from the Asian and white community, and that's why there's a
So
high average percentage.
So that was basically the intent of the graph, was to see that if simply because there was more people sampled that they were reporting higher vaccination coverage, but there is no correlation, so that is all right. But yeah, so basically it's just saying that the highest, it has really nothing to do with the population sampled. It just shows that Asian, non-Hispanic, and then white non-Hispanic tend to be the most, have the highest vaccination coverage rates.
Yeah. And because one of the things which you mentioned in your caveat is very nice about that, how small population sizes can skew results, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't have enough representation from a particular, race and ethnicity group, so you can't say for sure, if it was because of that, or really they didn't go through, or they didn't have the COVID vaccinations, right? That's what you meant to say. Okay. So yeah, the same data points, like if you just a representation wise, X and Y, X is more clear, data labels and color coding, I think that's good enough. And overall, if you can definitely let people know, because suddenly it comes on the right hand side, with the 90K population, because I know you are summing up the data now for
Mm-hmm.
all the ethnicities. So if you can put an arrow mark over there, say, this is the overall, right?
Yeah.
And the others are like they're one, on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, the same thing, for the slide.
Yeah.
They say there's no label for the header, so add that, yeah.
And then we can
That's
just move
good,
on
yeah.
to the last visualization, which basically just talks about, because this data took the vaccination coverage rates on a week by week basis from the time frame. This just shows how over time across each ethnicity there was an increase in vaccination coverage rates.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking at the bottom. It says it's October 23rd to May 24th. So probably that's the time range your entire data set is, and so just ensure all of your slides are conforming to this timeline.
Yeah.
Right, and just state it out at the beginning itself that this data is from this month of this year to this month of that year,
Mm-hmm.
of the year, and that people know, which years they are focusing upon. And it says week ending date. Okay, we are going from this 1 to 8.
But
Kind of
then I guess there's
8
an
months
issue that
data.
I just realized is that it goes from October 23rd or October 1st to November 1st. So is that really week ending date?
And I think it's a monthly data, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like 1 month by month, so you might have to change the label over there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you can just say month ending date or month beginning date, whatever makes more sense over there. And again, when you say average percentage, just define a little bit more, like average percentage of what, right?
Yeah.
And I think I see that all three charts are aligning in terms of they're saying the same thing about, which races had more, coverage, vaccination coverage, and how they grew over the time. And one thing very interesting over here is, I don't know, people would like to ask you is, all of them are kind of, very nice, curved lines, and some of them are very zigzag, 2 of them especially. So as long as you have the data to support why there were so many ups and downs over there in the data, see the blue and the yellow lines, they stand out. So somebody would like to ask you, what happened over there. So as long as you have a justification to let them know, that will be good to have in your backup slides or your notes somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think this again, the same thing, just the reformatting and labeling and naming the chart, all of that stuff. But other than that, I think this looks great, Anya.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all the questions I had. Is there anything else in general that you would like to add that you think, any criticism or any, comment, like anything that you think would help me make this project better or make this project more convincing to my stakeholder that we should increase resources to marginalized communities?
I think it's a very interesting data pool you guys have picked up. You have picked up basically for your project. It's it's really interesting. And other than what I have told you, I think I don't have anything so far.
Okay.
And I saw that you have, taken your data source from established, site, which is CDC. And if you add more to it for the influenza or any other vaccination, you will be picking up the right data sources. And as long as you have that, I think your charts are looking good.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me. I really appreciate your time. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Anya, and all the best.